And we're back, and that was humming. Oh, boys, that was not the result we predicted for the Old Trafford.
Oh, the result? I thought you were talking about Jack.
Yep. For the listeners, I'm here with Alex and sitting in for Tom. We've invited him back after a 6-month ban. It's Jack from The Athletic.
I thought I was never going to get the opportunity. You're an Athletic.
He's back for the last game of the season, last preview of the season. And you get the honour of reviewing that absolutely disgusting performance at Old Trafford. We'll go straight into that. Where do you want to start, boys? Because, I guess we'll start with the lineup. I said Pope would start. He didn't. We thought Joe Linton would start. He didn't. Are you questioning that?
And then we said Trippier wouldn't start, and he did. And then he wasn't the best. So be careful what you wish for.
Well, that's very true. Are you questioning Eddie Howe on that decision? Or are you thinking he knows best, he's the one who sees him on the training pitch?
For me, just...
Wait, well, obviously...
I don't know. Sorry, is there a bit of a delay?
No, go ahead, Jack.
For me, I was just going to say, it half felt like he bottled it from the selection, in that could have gone with a stronger team and didn't, basically. And again, appreciate that some of them are just coming back and some of them aren't maybe fully fit or ready to go, but even a not fully fit Joe Linton, for example, in the middle, for me, for half an hour, even 60 minutes, would have been better than what we had for that first half. Just missed opportunity for me. But don't really know that, we can get into it in a bit more detail player by player, but there was a lot of, how should we say, sort of better ways that we could have gone about it.
Like, what is this with starting games so slow? Like, I don't get it. It's like, it's a theme for like months now. Yeah. Like, I'm sick of it. Like, and it doesn't matter what team it is, whether it's like Sheffield United or fucking Man City or whatever. Like, we're starting slow in every game. This Man U team was there for the taking, and everyone said that like pre-game. We were Bookie's favourites. Like, we had a chance of securing a European spot, pretty much. Like, as long as they lose their FA Cup final, which they're fucking going to. And we absolutely fucked it.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Well, like you say, we're starting badly in every single game now, so that wasn't really that much of a shock. But when we got to 1-1 just after half time, I think I even put it in the group chat. I was like, we have to win this game from here. We were like in the ascendancy. We were on top. We'd got the goal back, and then the defence was just, not the defence specifically, but the defending as a whole from the team was just not there at all. Like all 3 goals were horrible defending. The fact that we gave that lad 3 opportunities at the back post from corners, just have another go, son, until you score. Like, it was crazy. I was actually going to say in this episode as well, like, I'm not angry anymore, so we can discuss it with a level head. But now we start talking about it, I can feel myself getting angry again already.
Yeah, bringing back the memories.
Alex, you mentioned Trippier. Are you blaming him 100% for that goal where he's playing them on side?
Nah, like, it's a proper weird one because I've just watched it back there, and you've got Fernandes, McTominay, and Mainu all in that like sort of spot, like just inside the box near the pen spot.
Yeah,
and like Bruno's on the edge of the box, he's going towards the ball really, but then you've got two centre halves with 3 men, and then the ball, it looks like it's getting played into Fernandes, so Kraft steps up, and then it just goes straight past him and Mainu, and it's ridiculous. So yeah, you can blame Trippier for leaving them all on side, but it's just as a defensive unit, we're just completely switched off. Like, you should be higher. There's like no excuse for that.
Yeah,
but it's just
you can see he gets caught in 2 minds though, can't you? Like, because of that overload of players, because he's got his man and then the extra man in the centre, and he kind of doesn't do either, and he doesn't step up. But I thought at the time Kraft was bad for kind of stepping up too far into going like towards the ball as well.
Yeah, but like if the ball is clearly intended for Fernandes, so then you can't let him receive the ball inside the box, and then while he's dropping off a couple of yards on Mainu, it's a weird one how it like just bypasses everyone. But yeah, Kraft should be in that position where Mainu was, but then maybe Bruno needs to step a few yards back, but then he needs to get the ball. So it's just like it was just a fucking mess. Like there's no other way of putting it.
Yeah. Do you think that was the actual plan, though? Do you think that was the plan for us to defend in that way, or do you think the way that they played affected our game plan so early on? Because early doors, it didn't look like we were miles out the game, and it looked like we were kind of doing what we wanted to do in terms of the plan, push them hard, get the ball up the pitch quickly, all the rest of it. But I don't know. I feel like the way they came into the game affected the way that we approached the game. I don't feel like we really changed when you could see things happening in Man United, not necessarily progression, but just doing. I don't know. When I watched that, I felt like we'd set up slightly wrong against them. I don't know if you guys felt the same or not, but
I've heard other people saying the same sort of thing. Like Eddie basically got not just the selection wrong, but the way we approached the game wrong from the start. But you're not going to get that right every single time because obviously they have a chance to try and do something different, whatever. But I think it's the in-game management once you figure out how they're going to play, which is getting questioned.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure either way or not myself. I don't know about you, Alex. I didn't really question that so much as the actual player selection.
Yeah.
But it was a weird one because obviously we would have expected them to start with Højlund up front and have an actual like target man. We didn't think Bruno Fernandes was going to play because, well, he was out at the weekend. He never misses games. And then I'm sure Ten Hag came out in the presser before the game saying like, oh, like he's probably not going to make it back. And then all of a sudden he's like the sort of most advanced player forward. It's like him and McTominay. McTominay was like a target man almost. So you're right with that like inability to like adapt. Like we probably didn't have a fucking clue what was going on. But the fact that it's not that they scored really early, like we had time to sort of get some notes out to the team and try and sort of get across to the lads like who to pick up and stuff like that. And it just we didn't adapt, we didn't react, and we paid the price for it. Like absolutely shambolic defending for their first goal.
And then what about I think we'll have to come on to it sooner rather than later, the penalty shout. What did you think in real time? So like we're talking the referee's decision. Did you think it was a penalty in real time, or did you think at first like Casemiro got the ball and that was that?
I thought personally strong challenge, but didn't get the ball. Well, he got the ball, in the challenge, but obviously Gordon's ended up on the floor. There's the initial sort of, oh my god, penalty, and then you kind of go, oh, maybe he's not. But then on the replay, like stonewall, like I don't know how anyone watching that back doesn't see it as for what it is. Basically, like I don't know how, even not in slow motion. If you watch that in full pace, you watch it in double pace, and you see that come through, you go, he's definitely hit him before that tackle comes in. So
times 10.
I like to think everyone watching it on double pace.
Absolutely.
I'm about like all over him. Like I'm about like if like Casemiro comes in and saves him in a way because his arms are all over Trippier before he even Gordon before he even steps down the back of his ankle. Like he's all over him, and then obviously Casemiro comes in and wins the ball, and I've never seen the sort of rake down the Achilles in real time. But then, as Jack said, watching it back, it's crystal clear. It's crystal clear. And then when they zoom in on his ankle where his sock's ripped and his studs have clearly came down the back of him, like how can VAR look at that and think, nah, play on? Like Gordon had a really good interview after the game as well, where he's like, I don't blame the ref for not seeing it in real time. And he was like, he's saying to his teammates, no, it's a definite pen, like we're getting it. Like, look at my ankle, like I felt him go straight down the back, like clear pen. And when VAR doesn't give it, it's just like, what are they fucking doing up there? How is that not clear and obvious when you've raked down the back of someone's Achilles? Yeah. It's just beggars belief. And like, the best thing is, like, it doesn't surprise you. Like, Old Trafford, like, how many teams get decisions there? You just fucking don't. And like, how is that fair? How is that the case? It just makes you think, like, well, how many times have I said VAR wasn't brought in to like correct wrong decisions? It was brought in to be more biased towards the teams that they want to be biased to. And you've obviously seen Wolves come in the past couple of days to try and scrap it.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen. Let's be honest, it's not. But you can't blame them when they've had, I think it's something like 17 decisions go against them in VAR. I don't know if it was this season or like the last couple, but 17. It's like by far and away like the highest of any team in the league. But yeah, we're going off topic a bit. But back to the pen. How the fuck's that not given?
It feels as if.
Yeah, do you think
VAR? Sorry, Sam. Go on.
I was just gonna say, do you think they actually looked at like the ankle, or do you think they just looked at the Casemiro challenge from maybe it's the angle? Because there is an angle, or even two angles, where you don't really see the foul, you just see the decent tackle. And even like on Optus Sport over here where I'm watching it, they showed two angles and the commentators are like saying like, oh yeah, great challenge, and then it shows the third angle and he goes, oh, actually Amrabat's got him there, he's caught him, that's a penalty. Do you think they've even like seen that angle? Do you think like that can be the reason why? Like, that's the only thing I can think, and hopefully the audio is going to come out like it has on previous bad decisions. But yeah, I mean, there has to be something changed about it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It feels as if they haven't seen it enough times, or they haven't seen the right angles enough times, because you just don't make that call if you've seen all the angles. It feels like they've kind of rushed through them and went, oh yeah, moving on. Like, I don't understand. It changes the game. It literally, it changes the game at that point. Like, obviously I know, we get a penalty, it changes the game automatically anyway, but just the feel of the game changed. Like, it felt like it was going to go against Swift from that point onwards. And I know it doesn't. Like, I know we come out early in the second half or whatever and score straight after, but it just felt, oh, here we go. Same again. Here's another one of the same story where we're going to try hard, get to the end of the game, and maybe have a draw would be the best that we could hope for. That's what I felt like. One thing
which I've heard no one touch upon as well is that if that gets given, Amrabat gets booked. And he made quite a few fouls in that second half as well. He has to. To be fair, that's probably the best game I've seen him play for Man U.
Yeah,
he was all out.
Yeah, I said that as well.
And but he was making fouls at the same time. If he gets that booking and score that penalty, like, he has to really watch himself. He can't play the same way because he made a few fouls in that second half and ended up getting booked himself anyways. So not only does it change the game, as in we'll get the goal before half time or whatever, but yeah, he needs to watch himself as well. Like, it's just,
that's true.
The inconsistency is absolute bollocks. Like, do you reckon the other way around at Old Trafford, if that happens to Bruno Fernandes, do you really think that gets waved away?
No.
There's a fuck. There's like absolutely no shot. Like, absolute zero shot if Dan Burn goes down the back of Bruno Fernandes' ankle like that. It gets given. Like, the referee gives it on field. And then VAR pats him on the back and says, well done, good decision.
It's kind of as if
did you see when
penalised slightly by Gordon not reacting the way that a normal, like, if as you say, if it was Fernandes, he'd be down, he'd be rolling around, he'd be screaming in the ref. Look at that on the TV. It's because Gordon's so used to winning those sort of types of penalties where it's, a minor touch in the box, or he's got in before and he knows it's coming on the video, that he doesn't react for obvious reasons. But if he had reacted, would that have prompted a bigger response from the referee? Something to rouge now that it's all said and done. But
well, that's the problem now though with Gordon's been getting yellow cards for like stupid yellow cards all season, hasn't he? So he'll have definitely been told no, like asking the ref to do his job type thing, because you get booked for it now. So, well, we do. I don't know about Bruno Fernandes, but we'll move on to Dubravka. I've seen a lot of people saying now that they're pretty much done with him. He can't save down to his right, which I kind of agree with. It's like too many times now. Do you think that's a bit harsh, or do you agree with that? Because there was the one that they're really picking up on. He probably was slightly, his view was probably slightly obscured, but I know, Alex, we discussed whether it would be Pope or Dubravka in the last episode. So what are you thinking with him now?
Well, we said that, we wanted Pope back in, but thought that there's a good chance that Eddie Howe might keep Dubravka. But, like, it's not just this game, it's not just the recent games. It's since he's came in January or whatever, when Pope got injured, he's made these poor non-saves. like, since then, it's ridiculous. Like, we went from, I think he was joint least amount of goals per game conceded with Pope in, to, like, one of the most since. Like, you can't do that and expect to get European football, like, especially, like, this Man U side. No striker, like, the creativity on that side, like, they should not be scoring 3 goals against her. And, yeah, fair enough, like, Diallo's hit it like a fucking rocket, but, I don't know, just get, like, a hand on that, like, and then, obviously, the Hoyland one's fucking criminal, I think. Like, he cuts it back into the corner, but it's going in slow motion, like, it's not a hard shot. It's from like 20 yards out, and it just trickles in. It's embarrassing. I think he needs to come out for this last game. Like, fuck it, put Pope in.
I'd agree.
Definitely.
We need to win. We need to win. So, like, you need to fuck off this sentimentality. Yeah, he's done a good job. Like, I'm not being funny. That's the last game I want to see him play for Newcastle. Like, I think he's 34, 35 now. Fuck him off, like, and
it's a shame because
I wouldn't even mind having Karius as a backup.
Yeah, before this season, I thought decent servant, done all right as backup, coming in when he needs to come in and doing a decent job. And again, he's had, I don't know, a handful of good games this season where you think, oh, you know what, he's earned his money there, but it's that they're the minority. Like, there's not many games this season where you've gone, fuck, he's had a fucking stormer there. So yeah, I'm the same as you, to be fair, Dawes. I'm happy to see the back of him. Even if it's, I don't know what you get for Dubravka at this stage in life, but a couple of mil maybe.
Just fucking let him go. I'll just happily let him go for now, mate.
I'm pretty sure he's
I think like 30 at his age, like. Fucking pay him off. Pay him to go.
Yeah, I think with somebody like him,
I'll drive him to the airport.
It doesn't have to be like a real horrible kind of like fuck him off type thing. It just needs to be like you're just not up to it anymore. Like, thanks for everything that you did do, but we've moved past it. And I think there's a few players like that in the squad now. Unfortunately, there's probably too many. That's the issue, is like, realistically, I know getting in the Champions League and everything, and playing the Champions League this season has obviously boosted the expectations so highly. But when you think about the squad we've actually got, even finishing 8th in the Premier League is pretty decent, especially when you consider the injuries we've had. I'm talking the likes of Paul Dummett, Matt Ritchie. We've still got Jamal Lewis on the books, like these types of players. And then obviously people are calling for the likes of Longstaff to go. So where do you guys stand on him? Because he got a lot of stick again for his performance at Old Trafford.
How many games in a row is that? Like, there's 3 or 4 games 15. In a row. Yeah, and the rest. Like, where, like, I've said it, like, he's papered over the cracks a bit with a couple of goals, but it doesn't mean he can mince around for 90 minutes doing fuck all and being an absolute ghost for the rest of it. Like, genuinely, that like first half, I forgot he was on the pitch, and I'm not even exaggerating. I was like, what? I can't remember him being on the ball, and I can't remember him doing anything off the ball. Yeah. It was like a just completely non-performance, and we can't get away with that. even against this poor Man U side. Like, we can't get away with like having a man down effectively. Like, hoist anyone in there instead of him at this point. Like, I'd give Joe White a shout at this point. Like, he's looked all right when he's came on. He's looked like he's a bit positive and tries to get forward a bit more. Fucking give him a chance. Like, what's there to lose? You can't do any worse than Longstaff, can he? So I wouldn't say like let him go. Like, we could probably do with him if we get the Conference League. Like, yeah, like he could do a job against some obviously poor sides, but he shouldn't be starting for us every week in the Premier League. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, having him on the books and having him as a sort of emergency backup almost. Yeah, fair enough. But in certain types of games where we need to try and maybe defend a lead and I don't know, just put him in there to kick some players. But yeah, for me, he's not good enough to start, but he's not one of those where I'd be like, oh, he needs to go. Like,
yeah.
I don't know about you, Jack. What do you reckon?
No, I'm in complete agreement with what you've just said. You've obviously said week on week that I think the description of
you always slag low stuff off.
Oh mate, I'm his worst. I'm like
you give
literally
him pelters every week.
The guy. What I was going to say, I would love to see. You know how Eddie comes out every week or whatever when Longstaff's been getting pelters and sort of says, oh, he's key to the team and it's all the work he does in the background and all the rest. But I've never actually seen anyone come out with the stats of, oh, by the way, Longstaff's ran 12k this game. He's ran 15k longer than anyone else on the field or whatever. Like, no one's ever coming out with any stats to back that up. It's more just, oh, he does all the grunt work.
Yeah.
And I'm sat here every week going, what grunt work? Like, what grunt work is there required? Yeah, you'll be in the right place at the right time. But as Dawson said multiple times previously, he doesn't make the tackle. He doesn't come looking for the ball. He doesn't progress play in any positive word of the, any sense of the word. So, yeah, I'm his biggest critic. But in saying that, I'd still have him around in the squad because you don't, to have a squad player like him come through the books. It depends. I mean, value wise. And it comes down to money again, but
what are you going to get from him?
Hypothetically, let's say you get 15, 20 mil, maybe at a push. Like, I'd snap someone's hand off. I'd snap both hands off for 20 mil.
Yeah,
even 15.
For me, with Longstaff, he obviously shouldn't have played this much this season. It's due to injury. And one thing I'd have to say in his favour, there's obviously been this thing about him playing through injury for starters, but also, had we not had him, can you imagine how disgusting our midfield would have been for a large portion of this season? Like, we would have had to play somebody like Miggy in the centre or like fucking Matt Ritchie or something daft. So I do think we need to keep him in the squad. Like, I wouldn't be getting rid of him unless a big offer came in. And when I say big, I'm talking 15 million. But realistically, like, I wouldn't be looking to move him on. And obviously, Tonali takes his spot straight away next season anyway. So I understand why, like, he's getting a lot of criticism. But your point on the stats, Jack, like, I know last season, a lot of that was coming out, and like, he does cover the most ground on the pitch. But yeah, I've not seen any of that this season, so I don't know.
But he was a lot better last season for us. Like, in general.
Was, yeah. And that's another reason why I'd keep him, like, just on the back of his form last season. We know he can't do it, so whatever is going on, like, he might be able to put right. And yeah, as you say, a squad player. And you got to remember as well, in this game, we had the likes of Kraft, Dan Burn, Longstaff, Elliot Anderson, all probably, like Dubravka, all probably squad players next season.
Mr. Main Man Murphy?
Oh, he's starting next season. you think we're getting a right winger better than Murphy?
Paige isn't here. You don't have to say that. You don't have to lie like that.
No, you'll listen.
You won't be listening.
You'll be listening.
No, you're right. You're right. Another one, Murphy. Yeah, I mean, he puts in a quality cross, obviously, for Gordon's goal, but I mean, for the rest of the game, what's he actually?
He actually put the ball in for Burns one that was headed off the line as well. It was one of those where like he looped it in, which we've said for weeks now he shouldn't be doing, and it looks like it's went like far too far past the back post. But Dan Burns there, I mean, it was close as well. Like it was an inch off going over the line. So it's a shame for that one, but
if you've looped it over the back post,
game, he just doesn't offer it enough.
Sorry, I'm just going to say, if you've looped it over to the back post and only 7 foot fucking 9 or whatever he is, Dan Burn can get to it, that's not a good cross really at the end of the day. Like, I know he plays for strengths, but another one who, you're right, he's probably going to be a squad player next season, but it's one of those slow and steady progression things, isn't it, where you can't expect everyone to be on a higher level immediately. So, and he looks like a good guy to have around as well, to be honest.
Why I was starting him over Harvey Barnes? Well, obviously he had a plan for Harvey Barnes coming in with already having Gordon. Was the plan always to have Harvey Barnes as a backup and have Murphy or Miggy start on the right? Like, is that like, or was there a plan to actually put Barnes and Gordon in? I don't know. I don't know how fit Barnes is. Still, obviously, he came back from a little bit of a niggling injury, but he's not been great the past couple of games. Like, he came off the bench against Man U, and like, would you say he comes in, or like what we're going to do in that sense? I don't know. We'll get onto that when we talk about Brentford. But Murphy with another assist, but I just think his all-round game, he still just doesn't do enough to get that starting place for me.
As you say, papering over the cracks really again by adding stats to the game, but other than that stats, there's very little on offer.
Yeah, and just before we do move on, probably mention Isak. Another quiet game from him. Obviously, that chance that he had, I mean, Gordon didn't really give him the best opportunity to score it, but there was still enough there that he should have got a clean shot away before the defender comes in.
How often does he wait for that slide tackle to come in and then just shit jinx it past him?
I know. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen, and then
because you know, like it's like a 3-on-1. You know, Amrabat's going to come back and he's going to have to commit. So, like, how many times have you seen him even in the past few weeks, just cutting back inside and sending the defender for a hot dog? Like that's the one. Like, obviously you've got Longstaff's 1-on-1, which was a fucking stinker as well. But Isak's one was that was the one where I was like, we should have scored there. Like, simple as. And he's been a little bit off it the past few weeks. But
well, he was meant to be ill last week, but apparently he was fully fit this week. So, do you think he's just making sure no one comes in for him in the summer?
Yeah, maybe.
I fucking hope not.
He definitely looked off the pace.
Misses fucking so many chances if that's going to do it.
Yeah,
and
he's,
what do you make to the Wilson situation?
I can fuck off.
Yeah, he can't have enough charge on his phone with all the agencies ringing at the minute. That's what he's doing, not lying on his bed. Just making sure he's got a deal for next season, I reckon.
Did you see that fan meetup thing or whatever it was that he was meant to be doing that he pulled out of as well?
Yeah, well, if you're towing the line that he has been ill, not injured, then I guess you can't be attending a fan forum. So I know people are booting off about it, but like, I don't understand. Like, if you're saying someone's ill, you can't be turning up to that kind of thing. What about the escapade that's been going on Twitter about the away tickets being sold by staff members, or one in particular?
It's interesting because when that screenshot first got put on, I didn't even realise it was a staff member. I thought like Pete was just complaining about the ID situation. And then obviously I twigged on, and it's fucking. The only thing I can say for it is like, do you think it makes the club look bad that their like female team are having to sell tickets to like make enough money type thing?
I mean,
or do you think it doesn't matter how much they're getting paid, she's going to be trying to
Well, it seems like that way, I think, because...
What's been happening here? Sorry, Dawes. I missed this.
So one of the women's team players has been... she must have got a ticket for the Brentford game through the staff ballot, and she's been selling it on Instagram. And then someone messaged her, like, saying, like, oh, like, how much, whatever, like, face value. Which, like, whenever you see Toon fans selling tickets on Twitter, it's always sell for face value, like, you're selling to, like, a fan, whatever, like that. Like, don't rip your own, like, fans off. And she's, like, selling them for, like, double, like, what it's worth. She's, like, saying, oh, well, I'm getting 70 quid for each ticket. Like, you're not, almost like you can offer us more for it if you want. And it's like, Come on, mate. Like, not only are you privileged enough to enter the staff ballot and get a ticket that way, but then you're trying to rip off our fans by making a profit on them. Like, it's a joke. Like, and I know for one of the games that we went to this season, we entered the normal ballot to get an away ticket, and we've been successful. And it came up on the ticket, like staff ticket or something like that. So that's obviously one which has been returned by a staff member after they've bought it, and it's like being put back in the pot with the rest of the tickets, which is how they should be done. If like we were to like get a ticket and then not be able to attend, that's what would happen with our ticket as well. But she's obviously thought, nah, I can make a bit of money here, and gone to fucking sell it. So unsurprisingly, this has been screenshotted, and there's been a little bit of outrage about it, and quite rightly, to be fair, like, because people are trying to get tickets, and then obviously people getting ID, people losing season ticket points, loyalty points, if one of the mates goes on theirs or something like that. So yeah, it's kicked up a little bit of a fuss, and it's just deleted the post, and I don't think anything's been said by the club, but yeah, it's just a bit of a shitty situation.
Definitely a slap on the wrist by the sounds of it coming her way.
I think she'll get a bit of a telling off, I.
Not ideal. So I don't know what will be next in the match.
So moving on to the Brentford game then. We were just talking earlier about Lewis Hall and how he's kind of securing himself in that left back position. And you'd expect that to carry on into Brentford after such a great game at Old Trafford. Probably one of the only ones to really cover himself in glory. Maybe he's Gordon as well in the Man U game. Obviously his goal as well. Alex, you've mentioned how much technical ability he seems to have, and he showed that with that goal, didn't he? So.
Like, both his goals against Man U this season have been an absolute fucking peach. Like, he can strike the ball really well, and you see him, like, not just the goal against Man U, but, like, he'll have, like, probably at least a shot a game where, like, he'll fizz it, like, and he doesn't miss the target by much if he does, so he's definitely got that in his locker, and he does like to cut inside with his runs as well, so he likes to give him that opportunity to get a shot off. And to be fair, when you're watching the game in general, he's always fucking bombing up and down. Like, there's no wonder when he came into the team he was getting cramp at the end of games, because he's like constantly looking for that overlap against over Gordon. But yeah, like, it's just nice that, like, I know people have been booting off about, oh, why the fuck you been signing him? Like, we don't need another. Well, not that we don't need a left back, but why being signing him and not playing him? And we've repeated, like, he needs to be Eddie Howe ready for when he comes in. He's clearly fucking ready, because he's been one of our best players over the last couple of games, even though we've been on the wrong side of some scorelines. But yeah, like, that's one where I think going into next season now, fingers crossed, he secured that left back space and we don't see Dan Burn there again. Hopefully.
Yeah, it feels like a no-brainer, really, not to play Dan Burn at left back when you've got someone like Hall sat there ready to go. Even if he is winning it, I don't know, at 90%, 80%, whatever, but he was the only shining light for me against Man United. The tackles he was putting in, the running he was doing, as you say, Dawes, the balls he was fizzing across the field, or, obviously the goal was just cherry on top. So, really, for me, one of the standout players from our perspective.
And you were saying about that draws us level with goal scorers or something, Joe? Yeah.
So apparently, with Lewis Hall scoring, everyone was sort of touting it Anderson to be the guy, but with Hall scoring, that puts us level with Man United on the the different amount of players within the squad scoring within a Premier League season. So we're level with Man United now. So hopefully Anderson gets one in the last game of the season and we can clip that record from them.
So is that of all the Premier League era, this the maximum amount of different players that have scored? Yeah,
I think that's 21 or 22. I think different squad members have scored, and I might be wrong in saying that, but it feels like a lot. Yeah, it's
it feels a lot.
So well done.
Yeah, well, we can predict goal scorers later on after the scores if you want. But yeah, with Brentford, I think we know who's starting left back, but who's going to be starting right back because Tino's obviously injured. But Fabian Schär came in towards the end of the game. So is Crafton with a shout of starting right back after Trippier's kind of subpar performance, we'll say?
Nah, for me, Trippier comes back in, and I just don't think it's worth the risk of changing that out. Even if I cannot see him playing anyone but Trippier in that position.
Yeah, there's no shot Kraft starts over Trippier, let's be honest. He's come back in, he started a game, he's lasted the majority of the game. There's no... I know Kraft has been, again, one of our best players over the past few weeks, but I think if Shaw's ready to start, that is, because Kraft hasn't been bad at all, to be fair. I know he's been pulled in a little bit for their first goal, but yeah, I'm not... If Shaw comes back in, it'll be him and Byrne and Trippier on the right. Obviously, Lewis Hall left back. I cannot see a situation where Kraft will start over Trippier after get some minutes in his legs. I just hope it's going to be Pope behind them.
Yeah, and like we were talking before, it's the confidence that just seems to be lacking so much when Dubravka's in goal. With that back four, you even seen Kraft himself. Dubravka was coming out for it and he just booted it out for a corner or throw in or something. Just because he's clearly got no confidence in his keeper. So, yeah, that one's up for debate as well. But obviously, the Brentford game's a funny one because they've got nothing really to play for. But they're not a bad team, really. And where, our away form's terrible. Our recent form, last couple of games, we've been playing crap. So on paper, with a better team, you'd expect us to win, but I'm not as confident as I was 2 games ago that we're going to win this game now.
Well, I was more confident about beating Man U than I am about this game. It just shows how this league's fucking silly at times. Brentford, I think they've got a lot of the players back, to be fair. Mbremo's back in. He's bagging for fun. They've got quite a dangerous front three. Well, they're not playing as a front three at the same time, but Vissa, Tony, and Bremo, all of them have been in decent form at certain points of the season.
Yeah,
so they've got a lot, especially with our fucking goal record conceding at the moment. They can definitely cause real problems.
It's one of them as well because it's the last game of the season at home. All shackles are off and there's no pressure there to sort of perform as such. So sometimes you actually find that gives a better performance when there's no pressure there. I think what is it they're fighting for 15th or something like that. There's nothing.
Yeah,
as you say, you could either turn up and they'll all be on the beach, or you turn up and they're just having a bit of fun and we get turned over. Which I don't think is going to happen. If I'm perfectly honest, I think we turn up and I think we give them a good game. Hopefully, we put them with a sword. To be honest, but
yeah, it's going to obviously be drilled into the lads they need to win if they want any chance of European football next season. So, however, you would expect that to be in the same at Old Trafford. So, I don't know. Trying to think of this in isolation a little bit and not get too bogged down in the last performance. But yeah, Brentford, they could potentially finish above Everton if they win. Even if they draw, they could. And that'll be worth probably a couple of million to the club.
The players don't give a fuck, though, do they? Let's be honest.
Well, it depends if the club say, cheeky bonus for you if you win the game. And we end up finishing it. So, I don't know. I wouldn't write them off as being on the beach, but yeah, I'd hope they probably are. But bearing all that in mind, what do you think Eddie does for this one? Do you think he's going to go the classic 4-3-3? Joe Linton's going to be back in. Isak will start still. We'll get actually Barnes out there, seeing as on paper he's meant to be a much better player than someone like Jacob Murphy. Or do you think it's just going to be the same team again?
Fuck knows with Eddie Howe, let's be honest. Like, I would say, yeah, bring Hobby Barnes back in. But Murphy will probably start, let's be honest. So, I don't know, maybe you might start making to put him in the shop window. He has, like, your last game, your last start. Start learning Saudi. But I'd like to see Joe Linton back in before the end of the season. Get a start, to be fair. Anderson has not been bad by any stretch. And you think that's where Joe Linton will come in, like, left of midfield. Like, personally, I don't know how the balance would be if you put Anderson on the right and had those three in there. But fuck it, it's last game. Like, we've been shite lately anyways, playing with Longstaff in. So why not try and mix it up and go a bit more of, I don't know, maybe if you try and sit Bruno, like, a bit deeper, like, try and have him a bit more disciplined and sit in front of the back four and have sort of like, I know people hate talking about fucking sixes and eights and this and that, but like have Bruno sitting like in front of the back four and then have maybe Anderson and Joe Linton maybe a bit further forward, like pushing. I don't know. Like they usually play with a three in midfield, so I don't think we'll get any surprises. To be honest, I think it'll be a 4-3-3 back four already mentioned, and maybe one change in the front six from what started in the Man U game, but I can't see Eddie Howe shaking it up. He doesn't like to.
Yeah.
Don't know what you think, Jack.
And the thing is as well, you've got to think if I know Gordon isn't injured as such, but if he sort of feels his ankle over the next few days and realises that there's a bit of a tweak there, does he start? I know we want him on the pitch to start, but
so.
If he's injured, who are you putting in? You're putting Barnes there and then putting, as you say, Miggy on the right, Isak up top. I don't know. Is Isak going to deteriorate? It's one of them where I can never think positively now. Like there's never I'm always like, oh, here we go, another negative spin on things, because it's just difficult to see. As you say, I think he brings Joe Linton in. I think that there's no team without Joe Linton starting, in my opinion, on Saturday or Sunday, is it? Sorry, but the rest of them, fuck, as you say, who knows? Could be one of three players in every position.
Yeah, the thing that worries me with Joe Linton is that he put a very soft challenge in on, I think it's Fernandez for their third goal. I don't know if that's an indicator that he's not fully there yet, because you wouldn't expect that from Joe Linton. But the game before that, I think he came on, he had about 10 minutes and he put in like 12 tackles or something ridiculous. So, yeah.
Some of that'll be match fitness as well, though.
I'd risk it, me personally. But
yeah,
definitely. But I think for me, I probably would just start Murphy, to be honest. Go with the same front three, but Joe Linton in that midfield, and then I'd put Nick Pope in 100%.
So would you drop Anderson out of those midfield for Joe Linton?
Probably, just because that is a more natural position, like for like. But I wouldn't mind seeing Longstaff drop to the bench and just give Anderson a chance on the other side of the three.
Do you reckon Longstaff has missed having Trippier in there? Because for a long time it was like the sort of triangle of Trippier, Miggy, Longstaff, who was actually performing on that right-hand side. Like, so many games would funnel all our attacks down that right-hand side, and that's when Longstaff looked a bit better, to be fair. So I think maybe Trippier coming back in hopefully will improve Longstaff's game a little bit, because he's proven in the past to be like more than capable of starting games for us. So maybe if you can,
I think
sort of,
he takes a lot of instruction on the pitch from Trippier as well.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Miggy. When they have good games, you can see Trippier barking at them, telling them what to do. So he is a big influence. Trippier. It's not just about him coming in for Tino, like player for player. He is a big influence. So yeah, I mean, I know I mentioned it earlier, but I'll definitely start Trippier over Kraft. Right?
And what about his set pieces? Because Gordon, for a long time, his set pieces have been fantastic. Trippier's, he hit the first man on, what a lot of corners, he hit the first man on quite a few of them. I don't think his delivery was great against Man U. And to be fair,
Gordon
banged a few decent ones in.
Yeah, Gordon started taking them again before Trippier came off, which is an indicator that maybe would see Gordon and Hall just continue to step over them. But I don't know. Like, Jack, for you, who's the set piece taker?
I think you give it to Gordon or Hall. I think you'd rather build them up, in my opinion, than rely on Trippier for too long. Because, again, just looking for the future, I don't know how much longer Trippier is going to be around. He might be moved off this season as a bit of a value asset, or, if he is here next season, is he still going to be playing? What's Trippier now, like 34? 30? I think he's over 32 anyway. So how many more full seasons has he got in the tank?
Googling, no.
Yeah, he's 33, yeah. He'll be 34 in September, though, so he's getting on.
Yeah, next season.
Yeah. It's one of them where you think, do we look to cash in? And even if we don't cash in, fair enough. But I'd give it to one of the other boys. I think they were both taking them on Wednesday, and they would look fine to me, to be honest. I think Hall can whip a good ball in, and obviously Gordon can do the same. So haven't seen too much of them in terms of like the position sort of just outside the box, taking the free kicks, like actually scoring opportunities.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is I'd probably keep Trippier on the direct ones, just because we haven't seen a really good strike from a direct free kick, from what I can remember, from either of them. But they're crossing in.
Yeah.
It's been better than Trippier's, really, this season, anyway.
Yeah. I do miss them little,
and then obviously,
them little triangles.
Yeah. Well, we'll hopefully get them back, but I'm not going to expect too much from Trippier with him just coming back from injury, and obviously his performance against Man U. But hopefully he's a lot more solid than he was.
The triangle bar in Benidorm, but that's for another day.
One for the Benidorm
fans out there. Triangle, I believe it is, yeah.
Have Brentford got any major injuries or anything that we can point out, or are they looking fully fit?
I think they've got most of the players back, to be fair. Obviously, and Bremer was the big one. But yeah, apart from that, I don't think they're missing too many players. Rico Henry obviously is out for the full season after coming off against us earlier in the year. And Ben Mee, I think he's been out for a few months now, but they're obviously long-term ones. So yeah, well, I guess we'll see Sunday what they come up with. But in terms of like attacking wise, I think we're back to pretty much full fitness, especially with obviously Tony's ban.
Yeah. What have you made, Ivan,
definitely
Tony?
Caused problems
since coming back from that ban.
He came back pretty well. I think he scored a couple of goals early on, but then he's been quiet, and then he's even been left out the squad since Bremo came back in. So it's a bit of a weird one. Obviously, he said some things in the press about basically wanting to move to a bigger club. So if I was Brentford fans, I wouldn't be too mad about him fucking off, basically, and cashing in if they can get 60 mil for him. Like, I think they've been just fine.
But that's the thing. Do you think they're going to get that from now? Like, he's not really been, from what I've seen, he's not been the same player as he's come back. and whether that is obviously due to the fact that he's not been training and playing and whatever. But he's getting on in age now, like he's 28. So do you think realistically he's going to get that sort of money?
They were touting 100 mil, weren't they, at one stage? He's definitely not worth 100. 60, maybe. But who's the question you got to ask is who's paying the 60? Who needs a striker as much as that? Who isn't going to go and get
needs a striker? Like everyone?
No, but I mean, like in terms of who couldn't go and get a £60 million dollar, whatever euro striker from elsewhere. Like Arsenal is talk of, is it Benjamin Sesko or whatever he's called? I don't know how much he would cost, but if you're looking at players around Europe, do you go for Tony? I mean, he's proven, which is obviously helpful in a Premier League, for a Premier League team, but I don't know. I wouldn't be paying any more than 50 mil for him, to be honest. And if his head's not in it, well, I don't know. How easy is it to turn? Because I don't know. What was he like at Newcastle when he was... I'm trying to think back. He didn't really get much of a look in, did he?
Nah, he didn't play, let's be honest.
Yeah.
He was too young. But, I think that's the thing, is if someone comes in from that's not that sort of Champions League level, are they just going to be like, well, if he does well at us, he's just going to want to take another step on. So they're not going to go for that attitude sort of reason. And then, are any of the Champions League level clubs really going to come in from at his age, at that price?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe to see, like, if they can obviously give him a lot more service, then you could start banging them in again. It's just, I don't know if his stock's fallen a bit more than he realises now. But I'm going to say all this and then he'll bag a hattie against us.
David.
Typical. So
I went back and looked, and he played 10 Premier League minutes for us.
Wow.
10. He came on twice, and he played 10 minutes combined. So we didn't quite give him a chance.
Well, I think we should have a prediction then. Doris, do you want me to mention last week's predictions? Or
I think I said like 2-2 or something. 4 goals. I definitely said 4 goals.
Yeah, you definitely said 4 goals. I'm not mentioning the split.
I also mentioned Man U to score 0. So
yeah, I wasn't much better anyway. So. Right, Brentford. I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm going to say... I'll say we win 2-0.
Jack's going to predict we get beat again, and then we're going to ban him for another 6 months.
I was just about to say, I'm nervous because last time
despite getting it right.
I was going to say, I've been waiting. I've been listening in, and I'm not on the leaderboard. And then I think you've only got one guy on the leaderboard the whole season. I think George got it right at some point. But last time I made a prediction, I got shadow banned.
More recently, I think.
No, it wasn't a shadow ban. It was
it's a straight up ban.
Quite open about this.
What's your prediction this time?
Yeah, I've got to go strong for the end of the season. I think we'll turn them over. I think we'll rise to the occasion for the first time ever this season. Turn them over 4-1.
Oof. Strong.
I'm going to go 3-2 to the Toon.
Oh, I won't enjoy that.
What does that look like overall? Is that like a tight? Is that like us scoring 3 and then coming back and scoring 2? Yeah.
Nah, it's going to ping pong. Like they're going to play just free attacking football because it's the last game. They've got no to play for, and they're not really going to give a fuck. And we're going to be throwing the fucking kitchen sink and maybe sneak a late winner. Have a couple of quid on it, boys. Thank us later.
Have you got any predictions for the big undisputed fight before we leave?
Me?
Oh, the big one.
Enquiries.
No, I reckon Fury does it. I reckon he gets him down. Yeah. I think just one big punch and see you later.
I think I might go for music on points. I think I might go music points.
I've got music by decision on my bet slip, but I don't know. It's why it's such a good fight, because you just don't know what's going to happen. To be honest, it could go either way.
And who's
talking about
in the European spots as well?
Oh,
your scrap.
Yeah, I thought you were
European
trying to tout your own fight, yeah.
No. Well, I'll start promoting for that in a few weeks.
It's like no one knows who you're buying,
after the season's over.
European spots.
In terms of European spots, I think Chelsea, obviously. Then it's got to be us in 7th getting it, because City beat Man U. It's got to be.
It's
surely
fighting against Man U, man.
What for?
In the last game of the season.
I mean for the FA. No, I mean for the FA Cup final, so that 7th becomes Europe.
I think we could end up drawing on Sunday and still finish 7th. Like Man U away to Brighton. It's one of those where Brighton could just end up picking them off. They gave us a tough game last week. Who's saying that Man U's going to go there and win? Like, I'd be surprised, to be honest. Like,
yeah, they'll be thinking about the final as well, won't they?
Yeah, of course they will. They're not going to be putting everything in, knowing that, yeah, if they win the final, then they'll get the European spot anyways.
But that's what I mean, though, is like, obviously we need City to win that final, don't we, if 7th is to become Europe. So we could obviously go and beat Brentford and still miss out on Europe.
Yep.
So
imagine.
Nice positive note to end on.
Yeah, no. That's what I mean. It's just so hard to think positively when you've got so much riding on it. Like, I hate the fact that it's going to go beyond the season as well. That we've done everything we can at that point in time, and we're just waiting for another game for someone else that we've got no part in to go our way. It's so hard.
Fingers crossed Chelsea fuck up against Bournemouth and we're finished 6th anyways. Like, that would be nice.
Yeah, it's still possible, so yeah. That's a nice positive
Chelsea have been shite for half the season, yeah? Who says they're going to beat Bournemouth? What the fuck?
And yeah, we can talk about, once we know the lay of the land, we can talk about who we think may leave the club in the summer. And also we'll talk about the games in Australia, as me and Jack will both be there in Melbourne. But yeah, get your predictions in at St James'pod on social media. Like the episode, subscribe on YouTube, hit the notification bell. Thanks for joining us, Jack. You can subscribe to him over at The Athletic. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, see you again, boys.
Wanna hear you go?